Good afternoon, everyone. This is the week 2 of the SAP course. Today we are going to cover an intro to the company that we will be using throughout the semester, which is Global Bike International. And we are going to also cover the purchasing and sales and distribution business process within SAP. Before we start, I want you to take some minutes to answer these questions because that's what we covered last week. What are ERP systems? What are the main highlights of ERP systems? If we would to look at an ERP system, what would we find? One thing you may want to, I'll get you started and then I'll let you continue with the rest of the questions, is that they are umbrella systems. They are systems that support all business processes within an organization. They allow for information sharing and integration across the organization through a central database. They have a lot of controls to prevent fraud. They impose a certain standard business process across the organization. What is the architecture of an ERP system? What are the layers that make an ERP system? Of course, companies, and I've said that before, they invest a lot of resources in the adoption of enterprise systems. They don't do that just because these are the new trend. They do it because they expect some benefits. What are the benefits of adopting an ERP system? Of course, with every system, there are some challenges that companies face when adopting ERP systems. What are some of these challenges? And if we look in particular at SAP, what are some of the main highlights? So take some minute to answer these, and when we start, I will ask those who are attending to answer these questions. You may want to either look at the slides before you want. You can Google them. I mean, Google is a good resource. You can also find a lot of information in there. And I'm hoping that you can add to what I've already covered in the class. Okay, so as I said, we are going to be using a company called Global Bike. So everything, all of the exercises that you will be conducting within SAP uses that company. Every one of you guys has their own data, their own company. And what distinguishes you from others is the 3-digit numbers that is at the end of every GBI user ID. So if you are GBI 035, for example, you have a set of products that you sell, you have a set of customers, you have a set of vendors that you purchase from, and all of that. Of course, the companies are exact duplicate, but the numbers, so your customer number is different from my customer number, is different from someone else, but the exact name is the same, the contact is exactly the same. So just to make it easy for you to understand, it's an exact duplicate with different numbers only. So they have duplicated the database and distinguished between the instances by these 3-digit numbers. You have to be very careful when you conduct the exercises to always use these 3-digit numbers when you are doing the exercise. So it will ask you put in your material number, and you know that it will end. The exercise will always have these hashes. 3 hashes. Instead of these 3 hashes, you will replace them with your 3-digit number at the end of your GBI user ID. So let's look at Global Bike. Global Bike is a company that's using an ERP system. They want to standardize their business processes across the whole organization. It is an international organization. With a partnership with US and Germany. And you may think, why Germany? Well, you have to remember that SAP originated in Germany. It was actually started by a couple of employees in the IBM Germany division, and they split out and they formed SAP. So a lot of the examples and actually a lot of the terminology that's used in SAP is based on the Deutsch or the German language. So what's the history behind this company? Now, there are like two people who got to or partnership to form that organization. One was a bike champion in the US, and he started his own company, the mountain bike company. And we have Peter Schwartz, who also is interested in road bikes and engineered actually several composite frames. And he's also started his bike frame company in Heidelberg, Germany. They both met in 2000 and thought it would be a good idea if we merge these two companies, and they form Global Bike. So what is the organizational structure of that company? They said, okay, both of us will be a co-CEO. John will be responsible for certain things, and that's sales, marketing, support, IT, finance, human resources, but basically he will be selling products and bringing in money. Peter, on the other hand, because he's an engineer, will do manufacturing, will do research, will do design. Of course, because he is building the product, then he needs to also procure raw material and so on. So, and they said, we want to really be serving the professional bikers. So, and that's why professional, they are not consumers, they are prosumers, and they are like interested in touring and off-road racing. And we will distinguish our company because we will be focusing on high quality, on delivering high quality products that can maintain the challenges of, or can not maintain, but like can offset the challenges of racing and are tough and will provide very good performance. So here is the, again, an organizational structure. You see the two are CEOs, and you have a branch of Global Bike in the US with representation or with divisions in Dallas, Miami, and San Diego. And we also have in Germany, but with only two divisions, Hamburg and Heidelberg. Okay, so in the US, there are like the structure on the right, and we have again the CEO, but we also have a president, and underneath the president we have the sales, and we have the basically like selling and marketing and so on. Whereas, as we said in the Germany, we're focusing on manufacturing, procuring, and so on. Of course, you don't need to understand the full structure, but it's just showing you that this is a real company with different units and so on. When we actually do the HR exercises, you will see how we will create we will replicate that structure that you see in front of you. Okay, so what kind of products do we sell or do we handle? We have trading goods, and these are goods that we buy from other manufacturers, but we also sell. So an air pump, an elbow pads, first aid kit, we don't really manufacture these, but we sell them. So the trading goods are accessories, and they are divided either as safety gear or other. We need, of course, raw material because we manufacture bicycles. So we need these small units that we assemble together in order to form the final product. So you see that we have a tire, we have a tube, we have a seat kit, we have an aluminum wheel, and when we cover manufacturing, you will see how we will create an actual plan to assemble these raw materials. The finished good, which is the bike, consists of some semi-finished goods. So we assemble the raw material to form semi-finished goods, and then we use these semi-finished goods to build the final product. So our products, as we said, are either trading goods that we do not manufacture, we buy from someone and we sell. We have raw material that we assemble in order to create the semi-finished goods. And then we use the semi-finished goods to deliver the final product, the finished goods at the end. Of course, our finished goods are just bikes. So we have touring bikes and we have off-road bikes, and both are some are for men, some are for women. We also have three main different colors, I think black, red, and silver. Now, as I told you, there are like two subsidiaries for the global bike, one in the US and one in Germany. So of course, our customers in the US is different from our customers in Germany, and they have different numbers. Now, the numbers that you will see when you use your own instance will be different from what you see right here. The numbers will be different. Why? Because as I told you at the beginning, that database was duplicated for different students. So every student will have his or her own number for their customers. And of course, again, we have different vendors that we buy from. And so we have vendors in the US, vendors in Germany. And someone may ask, if we are only manufacturing in Germany, why do we need vendors? Well, one reason is because you sell trading goods. It doesn't make sense to import all the way from Germany the trading goods. These are goods that you just resell. So of course you will have vendors that you buy from. And again, if you are performing maintenance on the products, then you may be buying certain parts cheaper from the US or from China or so on. So your vendors in the US, again, are different from the vendors in Germany. Okay, now we understand the company as a whole. What are now the exercises that we will perform on the data in SAP, on Global Bike? We start with two, the selling and buying. We actually start with buying and then selling. So we buy raw material in the first exercise, and then we sell products to customers. The other exercises that we will go through are production. We'll actually see how can we create a production plan, and we follow that plan to assemble the product. We will look at financial accounting, but actually later on in the semester, financial accounting and controlling, to see how the financials are involved in selling, buying, in producing, and so on. We will look at human capital management, creating an organizational structure, defining the supervisor of every department, the leader of, or the chief of every department, and the employees that are under him or her and how they report to him. Part of the, and then we'll also cover inventory and warehouse management. Now, customer service will be covered by the groups. So group, I think 1 and 4 are doing customer relationship management, and group 3 is doing project management. We'll also cover supply chain, and that's, I think, group 2 and 5, if I'm not mistaken. as I said, I mean, like I asked you that question at the beginning of the lecture and said, what are like what are the main highlights of SAP and or enterprise system in general? And I told you that the one key thing is integration, is that it allows business units to integrate across the organization. You don't have these silos anymore. All of the different units are talking to each other. Now, they also, any information that's entered within the SAP can be seen by all units within the organization. So you have information sharing as a benefit. The fact that you have a central database reduce the inconsistency. There is only one version of the truth, and there's only one number for sales, for example. So no one can exaggerate that number or like estimated. Whatever number is there is the number that everybody can see. But the most important thing about ERP system is the cross-functional integration. You don't have accounting by itself, marketing by itself, human resources by itself, but they're all integrating and the data is shared across these different units. Okay, I'm going to stop right here because that's when I want you now to go back to the first slide and answer all questions, and then we'll start the session with the SAP. First, we'll answer the question. I mean, I'll make sure that everyone has the right question, the right answer for the question, sorry, and then we'll start purchasing.